Well, hello there, motherfuckers. I know it's a little bit overdue, but I'm coming at you with The Walking Dead Season 6, well, mid-season 6 premiere episode, whatever episode this is, I'm going to check. I don't know, it's the mid-season premiere. I think it's like fucking 9 or something like that. I might be wrong. I think it's 9 for within season 6. Anyway, um this was a good episode, and it really made up for a lot of the lackluster ones in the first half of the season. As I said, I was not a big fan of the Morgan origin story, and there was just a lot of episodes that were a total fucking waste of time. You know, between trying to build tension for Glenn's, the answer to the question was Glenn dead or not. They really, I appreciate storytelling and the building of tension, until it reaches a crescendo where you really appreciate it. And I did appreciate when we did find out that Glenn was alive. But goddamn, the things in between were downright fucking tormenting to fucking watch. I mean, 90 minutes of a Morgan origin story, and I was just, first of all, I was very, very happy that with this premiere, they decided to just go with 60 minutes. I don't know if there has been a 90-minute premiere. I don't really remember. But I know this. Every time they have a 90-minute episode of The Walking Dead, I'm sorry to harp on it, but every single time they do that, they never really show me that they need that amount of time to work with. Trust me. Um, there is always filler in these episodes. Even if it's just a couple of minutes or something. But The Walking Dead, yeah, I'm a huge fan of this show, and I think I've shown it. I've watched since the beginning, pretty much. Well, I started watching in 2011. I started watching on Netflix with the first 2 seasons, and then I, started watching it, up to date, like with season 3. But I really got to say that there's a lot of times with this show where there is a lot of filler and it does slow down a lot. That was not the case in this episode. This one is exactly what I expect from Walking Dead. And a lot of times there's a lot of episodes like this. And unfortunately, there's a lot of episodes that are not like this. And I wish more episodes could be like this. But then again, we would not really appreciate episodes like this without some other more lackluster ones. And that is very, very strange to say that. And there are a lot of shows that don't have any lackluster ones. In fact, one on the same channel, Better Call Saul. I can't really get over it, but I always just have criticisms about Walking Dead. They have shown that the writing is not as strong as it was for a show like Breaking Bad or a show like Better Call Saul, where they take advantage of every single moment in that show to give you something new and a new idea. The Walking Dead a lot of times just seems to be twiddling its thumbs at times. I mean, honestly, there's sometimes where I feel like they're just bored and they don't know where to go, and they're just filling up some episodes within the season. But anyway, enough of those criticisms, because this was a really good episode. And there was a lot of violence, and there were 3 deaths in this episode. Well, actually more than that. But 3 that you're really gonna care about. Well, actually, I don't know. Actually, was it 3? Anyway, we saw Rick's love interest. I can't recall her name at this moment, and I tried looking for it online, and I could not find it. But anyway, her 2 sons are gone. The jackass that Carl should have fucking killed in the first part of the season, who tried to fucking kill him. That comes back to haunt him. And of course, her other younger son, the one who threatened Carol, freaks out and ends up getting his ass torn apart. Just like Carol kind of said, and it was a bit like foreshadowing, I guess you could say. Fucking bribing her with fucking cookies. he was gonna tattle on her, because she took some guns. You know, I was happy to see it. You might call me a horrible person for being happy when a child fucking meets his ultimate demise, but that was very satisfying. I didn't like anybody in that family, but it's kind of sad though that Rick, he just gets another love interest, somebody who was truly genuinely cared for, and she's gone, fucking ripped apart, devoured. So that was a real shame. We saw more prominence with Daryl. I complained in reviews in the past that Daryl had really been put on the back burner. He had taken a back seat. Really, the camera literally shifted away. The spotlight literally shifted away from Daryl. The past season or so, and even the later half of season 5, just taken completely off of Daryl. And I wasn't a big fan of that, because the thing is, I'm a fan of the Daryl character. And every season I get nervous that the reason why they're shifting focus away from him is, it's one of two things. It's because he's like a character that's such a badass that, well, you don't want to get sick of him. So I think they try to use him more sparingly. Either that, or they want to kill him off. And that's what gets me nervous. I definitely don't want to see Daryl get killed off. He's a great character that adds a lot to the show and a lot of recognition to the show. I mean, you see Daryl, and really, it's kind of like neck and neck, him and Rick Grimes. It's kind of like, one or the other is like the face of The Walking Dead. So I always get nervous that each season that they're gonna plan to kill off Daryl, but that would upset a lot of people, and it would upset me. But this was another episode where it was an invasion of Alexandria, and very impressive how you see that many Walker bodies on the floor, and so many extras. Just when you see that amount of Walkers on the screen at one time, I'm like, show me a movie or a show where you have seen that many, active extras doing something in a single scene. And that's what really blows me away about this. And yeah, I think that this was a really strong episode, a really strong premiere. It was eventful. Carl losing an eye was shocking. You don't expect the main character like that to get fucking impaled right in his fucking eye, losing his eye. The internet's like, been kind of jokey about it in the way, but it really shocked a lot of people. And that's exactly what you need. You call it crash TV, call it whatever you want, but it was very eventful, and that's all you could really ask for in a TV show, that it be eventful, that it leave you talking, that the next day at the water cooler, you've got a lot to say about this show and a lot to say about the episode, and that's exactly what's come of this episode. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to be reeling from, and this episode, yeah, it was great. It had me reeling, and I was entertained, and a lot of shit developed in this story of The Walking Dead, and these are how. I'm not saying that like things are kind of moving a million miles an hour in this episode. Sometimes you got to slow it down and tell a story and develop characters in a different fashion. But all I'm saying is that, especially because we saw it happen a little bit too much for comfort, too many times in the first half of season 6, and I don't want to see it happen again. Do not get complacent with these characters. Do not start getting cute with side stories and stuff. I'm sorry, but Morgan's character isn't that interesting to warrant 90 minutes, especially when it's just kind of the same idea being repeated over and over again, and nothing really explored as well as it was. We in that episode, we really didn't get to see a really interesting character in Morgan. If anything, it kind of made his character a little bit less appealing. So the thing is, why I keep mentioning that episode is because I never want to see anything like that again. I want to see more of this episode and less of that. Less 90-minute super specials with fucking disastrous results. All right, motherfuckers. See you next time.